1,
2,
3, 4, 5,
6.
Usually when you hear about Afghanistan in the news, it's because of something regarding the war. The fight in Afghanistan is not the only thing we should be worried about. Afghanistan is one of the #1 producers of opium since 1992. Opium comes from the poppy plant, which is used as the key ingredient in heroin. The opium plant is a flower that grows naturally in Afghanistan. Here's a picture of a farmer and his field of opium plants. It is planted in shallow ground and takes 8 weeks for the plant to get about 1 to 2 feet tall. 90 days after that, the plant blossoms into a flower with 4 petals in a variety of colors. The petals then fall, revealing a pod. Inside the pod is the ovary, which is what produces opium. This is an opium pod that contains the ovary, and this is an opium plant before the flowers fall off. Opium is produced during a 12-day period when the pod is ripening. Once it reaches maturity, opium is no longer available. Farmers typically harvest opium 2 weeks after the petals fall. The farmers will cut small slits into the pod, causing the white sap to ooze out and dry on the outside, where the farmers collect it and store it in a dark, dry area. This is a picture of a farmer collecting opium from the outside of a pod. Opium production has increased 61% in the last year due to the rising price of the crop. Thanks to a crop blight which destroyed much of Afghanistan's opium harvest this past year. Prices farmers received for the crop were about 196 million kilograms this year, down from the 241 million a kilogram in 2011, but still far above the prices from 2008, 2009, and other previous years. This is a chart showing how much the price of opium has risen since 1994 to 2010. Not only are they helping the production of heroin, they also are filling the Taliban and other terrorist groups. These groups rely on taxes they collect from opium farmers to help fuel their operations. United Nations officials estimate that 10% of opium harvest proceeds reach the Taliban, while the other 90% is unaccounted for, most likely ending up in the government's GDP. Since 2005, the Taliban, who were overthrown in a U.S. invasion in 2001, but have come back with increased attacks, and has made up $160 million a year from taxing opium farmers. Of the 15.4 million opium users worldwide, 11.3 million users use heroin while the rest use opium. Nearly half the world's heroin is consumed in Europe and Russia. 42% of the world's users are in Iran. Heroin and opium cause 100,000 deaths a year and spread HIV at an alarming rate. As the government works to stop production of the lucrative crop, Afghan farmers have yet to find an equally profitable replacement. As a result, there is tension between the government and many poppy farmers. The Afghan government destroyed more than twice as much of the opium crop this year than the year before, eradicating about 9,600 acres. Destroying fields of opium is dangerous in Afghanistan. Insurgents launched over 177 attacks against Afghan security forces as they destroyed poppy crops this year, which killed about 102 soldiers and police officers and several Afghan civilians. Just 5 of Afghanistan's 34 provinces accounted for 78% of the country's opium cultivation. Kandahar and Helmand were among the biggest producers. Cultivation also spread to 3 provinces that were poppy-free last year. Kadamar and Helmand are located in the south of Afghanistan, but in these recent years, poppy production has moved further north. In conclusion, despite the 10-year war in Afghanistan, there are still they are still responsible for producing 90% of the global supply. And thanks to the price of the crop rising, the fight to completely destroy this crop seems to be a losing one. Any questions?
Is the U.S. doing anything to help stop the production?
The United States hasn't done anything yet, but they are discussing ways to stop it with Britain, which includes completely buying the crop from Afghanistan.
How many pounds are in a kilogram?
There are 2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram.
Are there any more countries that produce opium?
Afghanistan is the leading country, followed by Colombia, Peru, Burma, and Morocco. There are many more, but they are not top producers. And